Hi everyone. Okay, this is going to be my third video for astrology for newbies. This was the third requested video for astrology. I'm going to share a screen with you. Let's get this PowerPoint. Go to the beginning. All right, let me get this to show up as. Okay. All right, guys. So we're going to do the degree theory. And this theory actually comes from a world famous astrologer called Nikola Stojanovic. I can't pronounce his name, Stojanovic. Yeah, so I mean, this is a really exciting part of astrology, actually. Not many astrologers use this, but those those astrologers who use this, they're able to get a lot of accuracy and a lot of layers into their reading. So I really want to share this info for people who are new to this theory. Okay, so before we get into this, we need to understand what degrees means in astrology reading. So last time we showed, I showed you how to get your own astrology chart done on astro.com for free. And so, this is just a little touch up. So, when you get your own astrology chart, okay, we talked about how there's something called the rising sign, your ascendant. Okay, as you can see, this is Donald Trump's chart. His ascendant is, it's indicated as 29 degrees. The orbs here, the smaller numbers, they don't really matter. We just, ignore them. Okay, and you can see that also in the chart, it tells you that this is the sign of Leo, right? Is AC ascendant is 29 degrees Leo, right? We ignore the 58. Okay, the orb doesn't really matter. Okay, we ignore. So similarly, you can also see how here his Mars is at 26 degrees, okay, in Leo, right? This will be the 12th house actually, but it's close to the ascendant, okay? And you can see that his Pluto, right, is also in the 12th house, is at 10 degrees, and so on, okay? And you can check these again off with this chart as well. You can see his Mars, 26 degrees in Leo, is indicated here, Mars, okay, 26 degrees, okay? And we have the 46 and 33, like these are the minutes, okay? But we ignore those smaller numbers, okay? We only deal with the first number here in the beginning, okay? So same thing, Pluto, right? You can see from your chart, okay, is indicated as 10 degrees Leo, right? And we ignore the minutes. Okay, so, that's what it means by degrees in your natal chart, okay? And let's talk about, what is the degree theory in a nutshell. Nikola, this is Nikola, okay, this is the world famous astrologer from Serbia. And this is Astrolada, or Lada Dansheva. They did a lot of videos together. There are a lot of free ones as well as paid ones, okay? I'm going to explain them at the end of the video. But basically what Nikola means by a degree theory is that, how there are 12 different zodiac signs, okay, in astrology, and how each of these signs actually are assigned the degree. And the numbers just go together, just like how we did the houses, and they matched up with, each of the zodiac signs in its interpretation and meaning. Okay, these degrees, each of them, right, these numbers, they have a special meaning. So, we would have first degree of anything, it would be interpreted as Aries degree. The second degree would be interpreted as Taurus degree. And you go through all of the zodiac signs up to Pisces, right? That will cover up to 12 degrees, okay? And then after that point on, you go back to Aries again, because there are only 12 signs, right? But when you look at the natal chart, you actually have a 30 degrees for each of the houses, right? Because a circle has 360 degrees. So you can see that 13th degree is going to go back to the first sign, Aries, right? The 14th degree minus 12 would be 2 degrees, right? 2 degrees is Taurus, right? You just calculate, right? After 12, you minus 12 from each of the numbers, right? And then you get the zodiac signs. Okay, it's a repeat of these two. So what would happen is if you go to 24 degrees, right, it would be double the Pisces degrees. That would be a Pisces degree. Okay. But as you know, it doesn't go all the way up to 36, right? Your house, first house, or each house only goes up to 30 degrees. So you would have, 25 degrees would go back to Aries degree, okay? And all the way up to, if you count it, will end with Virgo degree at 30 degrees. Okay, so if you count one backwards, right, Trump had the 29 degrees for his ascendant. The sign that comes right before Virgo is actually Leo, right? So 29 degrees will be read as both 29 degrees and Leo degree. Okay, so I'm going to show you some sample. Oh, hold on. Let's go over who Nikola is first. So for those of you who are new to Nikola, the astrologer, Nikola is this guy who predicted Obama's election, that America would have their first African-American president like 10 years before it happened, right? Before even Obama was known to the public, right? He predicted that there would be an African-American president, first time in history of USA. And he also predicted what would happen to the US after Obama's reign as president, okay? And he was very accurate in those predictions. And he had published all of this on his website, okay, astrologyinserbia.com. You can read more of this on his website, actually. But, he was able to predict all of these things as well as the politicians in his own country, Serbia. Okay, and that's how he became really well known in his own country. So I think he built his first website mostly in his own language. Okay. And then he became better known after Lada Dunsheva. She introduced him to the bigger public through her own platform, which is called Astrolada. You can find her on youtube.com. And they did like a really successful series of webinars. So you can check them out, like 30 minutes freebies as well as the paid ones. Okay. So that's how I got to know of Nikola. I saw him on Lada's channel. Okay, I really loved following his material. It was very entertaining, also very enlightening. And nobody else had talked about the degree theory before Nikola. Like him and his students had created this, And so, you can really learn a lot from his theory. And I didn't really get any paid clients until I started using his system. And I wasn't planning on having any paid clients or anything. I was just doing this as sort of like my own sort of, brain exercise. I really need to. I really love analyzing stuff, and so I kind of did it just for fun and for my own sort of self-edification, and for a lot of study purposes. And I started getting clients because the degree theory is just so powerful. I can predict so many things with this one added layer of information, right? Other astrologers, they talk about planets and houses and the signs and the aspects, right? But Nikola's degree theory gives me a lot more information because of this, extra layer of information. And it really makes this reading really powerful and a lot more helpful with the accuracy of things, right? So anyway, that's how I feel very passionate about this. I'll give you an example of what happened. After I started to really study Nikola's theory, and I got better and better at reading charts. Like I really feel like I crossed this threshold of being a sort of an intermediate or basic level to sort of like intermediate, or from high beginner to maybe intermediate / advanced. Nikola's degree theory really helped me cross that bridge. And just one example of how powerful this is I was able to start just reading charts for fun. Like for instance, I do my nails a lot. Like I get this silk extensions and they take a long time, and I would spend a lot of time in the nail shop, And so I would get bored, and I would talk to my nail artist, and I just started reading her chart, and I was able to, she was really interested in her love life. So I started telling her about, like, yeah, the person that you're most likely to marry would be a soldier, okay, somebody in the military. If not, you might have other options, like maybe an Oriental doctor, somebody who practices Oriental medicine, that kind of a thing. And after all her customers left, she told me that she was really shocked because what I told her, was actually true. She was currently, at the time, she was dating this guy military, and she's still seeing him. And this guy really wants to marry her. And, her other lover, whom she dated right before this guy, was actually an Oriental doctor. So, just all these things I learned from Nikola, just made me a very proficient reader. Okay, so, and it just made it so much more exciting to read charts, and same thing, I had this date and I saw his chart, and before he could even tell me, I looked at his chart and realized, wow, he probably had some, separation from his mom, like his birth mom. Either he lost her early in life or they were separated. I could read all of that because of the training that I got. Well, sort of like indirect training I got from just following his webinars on Astrolada's channel. Okay, so I really recommend this people who are interested in astrology to really take the effort to learn about his degree theory. I mean, maybe this is not your cup of tea, okay, but at least be open to it, and I want you to give it a try, because I think once you start really taking this in, I think you're going to probably be a much more proficient reader, just like me. Okay. Anyway, so I met Nikola through Lada, so I'm very grateful to Lada's channel. I really respect her. She's an amazing person with a big heart, and her channel has really helped my life in many ways. So blessings to both of you, Lada and Nikola. Okay, and yeah, so how Lada met, or how she introduced Nikola on her channel. She said that even though she was an astrologer herself, she somehow um, had Nikola tell her all about her love life, her marriage life. And, at the time, you can find this in Lada's channel, actually. She said that I think around the time she met Nikola, she was actually on her second marriage, and she just had recently gotten, at the time, she had just, gotten married. She just had a wedding. And Nikola told her that, well, I'm sorry to tell you, but she was going to get married another time. And apparently Lada was super angry. She was like, yeah, this is my honeymoon phase. What are you talking about? But, Nikola was, very frank. He said, your third marriage is going to make you the happiest. You're going to live in this part of America. And all of those were so accurate. So by the time Lada had actually gotten to her third marriage, um, she had actually forgotten about what Nikola had said. But then one day she just remembered, like, oh my God, I can't believe how what Nikola predicted for me was so accurate. She was living in this part of the U.S. that Nikola had predicted would happen after her third marriage. So I was like, yeah, and she started like referring her to all her best, girlfriends, and a lot of her girlfriends were shocked at how accurate his readings were. So anyway, I got my reading with Nikola too, and it was really wonderful to learn how he could rectify my chart. Apparently, my birth time was correct. Remember, your rectification is very important for accuracy. Okay, especially with degree theory, you do need to make sure that your chart is rectified. And when you get a reading with Nikola, I'm not sponsored for this, guys. I'm just sharing my passion with you. Nikola actually did the rectification part for free, which is very rare. A lot of astrologers actually charge double or triple the amount a normal natal chart reading just for the rectification. But Nikola actually, he doesn't charge that separately. At least when I was getting my chart read, he didn't charge me separately for that. So I was very grateful at how generous he was. Anyway, so this is what I know about Nikola, or this is what I want to share about Nikola for now. Let's get into, okay, so let's do a little bit of Lada before we move on. So I met Lada the first time on YouTube. It was when she talked about fashion astrology. She had like all these theories of like, how each of the zodiac signs, that they have this like fashion, how the fashion would play out for each sign. And it was just so, engrossing for me. But she's also like a really amazing spiritual teacher. She has a lot of great videos, not only about astrology, but just about, like this feminine empowerment, and um, she's just really well versed, and she just shares so generously from her heart. So I really see her as a spiritual teacher, like a real guru, who is very authentic, Anyway, so Lada was trained in London for astrology, okay, and she's a great networker. Okay? She introduces a lot of other astrologers on her channel, okay, and she's also a humanitarian. Okay, she's really always, giving a lot of free information, and the webinars that she has, which are paid, she always prices them at a very affordable price. That's how I actually invested in learning from Nikola. Okay. I felt that she wasn't, trying to charge more than, what it's worth. Like she just really makes it affordable for people to access astrology. So I'm really grateful for that. And right now she's a mother. So yeah, I really respect this lady. Thank you, Lada, for everything. Yeah, anyway, so let's get into our topic today. Okay, so as we said, the degree theory takes you through all the 12 signs, okay, and it repeats again from 13 degrees all the way to 30 degrees again. Now, each of the signs have the meaning, but they're also something called a special degree, okay? So I'm going to show you just some examples of good or bad degrees, right? So off the top of my head, I could remember that benefic degrees examples would be, for instance, like in Queen Elizabeth's chart, or some famous people who are usually very powerful or have a lot of authority. They have this Taurus degree, the second degree. Okay, it makes them very powerful. So you want to check for these in your chart. Okay. Leo degree also gives a lot of either fame or some kind of a Leo-like quality, which would be some kind of dignity or royal bearing or personality. But also apparently, according to Nikola, a lot of sex appeal that you see in Hollywood actors or actresses, okay, or in general, like whoever has this degree tends to be very sexy, okay. And I was able to confirm this with my chart readings of people as well. And then we have, for example, 29 degrees apparently has a lot to do with somebody who can have a good prognosis and accurate predictions about the future, or just like really high intuition, okay? Accurate intuition. Okay, so a lot of people who can predict the future or have a really good intuition about how things are going to play out, apparently they have this 29 degrees. Okay. And also a lot of astrologers who are able to predict a lot of accurate things, like they would probably have this 29 degree somewhere in their chart. Okay. Let's talk about the bad malefic degrees. Like there's quite a lot of them actually, so you might really get really disheartened. Astrology is not always about the good things in life. A lot of times it's actually dealing with really harsh realities, or just really atrocious things that happen in humanity. So the 3 degrees that I remember that are quite malefic is, I think if I remember correctly, like 15 degree, this is Gemini degree, right? 15 minus 12 is 3. That's a Gemini degree. I think apparently if you have the 15th degree connected to Scorpio house or Scorpio energy of some kind, you could end up with car accidents. Yeah, so you have to be careful. I think there is also the 18th degree, which is considered a really evil degree. Nikola has said you can't have anything good come from this 18th degree, like evil degree. Okay. So yeah, those of you who have this, you probably have some kind of suffering going on in your life, this aspect of your life in your chart, um, it's I mean, I have it in my chart, Nikola has it in his chart. A lot of people will have this, because life is not always about the good times. Some of your karmic lessons that you have to learn, it's going to be pretty harsh. Okay. And I think a lot of people who come to me for reading, they actually do have these malefic degrees somewhere in the chart. They're really coming to this place where they really want to fully accept what's there in their life. And I think this is where a natal chart reading can really help you, like coming to full acceptance of, like, okay, you know what, I have this. It's good to have this recognition. It's quite healing to hear that, yeah, you know what, you have really suffered a lot. And anyway, so 18th degree is considered a very evil degree. Okay. So yeah, my heart goes out to everybody who has this. I know it's not easy. Okay. It's just part of life, right? And usually acceptance, like in the spiritual sense, acceptance really is the answer. Okay. Anyway, so another degree that's really considered malefic is the 11th degree, which is Aquarian degree. Apparently this has a lot to do with suicide, like people who throw themselves in front of trains, or if people who jump from buildings and so on, or they choke themselves in something, like, 11th degree apparently has to do with suicide. It also has to do with divorce. So yeah, Aquarian degree does have this sort of an indication. Okay, so you might want to watch out for 11th degree and also 23rd degree. Both of them are Aquarian energy. Okay? Uranus has that effect, right? Okay, guys. So anyway, so there are these different types of degrees. Okay, I'm not going to cover everything because I don't want to repeat what is freely available to you that Nikola and Lada have covered together. Okay, but I do want to give it, some explanations from what I've experienced. Okay. All right, guys. So here's a sample chart. This is a chart of somebody whose birth time has been rectified. So for example, let's say that somebody has a Taurus rising at 15 degrees. Okay, so remember when you do chart rectification, one of the things that we can check to see if your birth time is correct or not is to see, ask the question, like, what is the first thing you do when you wake up, right? That's what Nikola asked me before my reading. I mean, he actually asked a bunch of questions, but that's one example, right? And so apparently the ascendant degree, this is the first house, beginning of your chart, has a lot to do with, waking up. What do you do first thing in the morning? That's the question, right? So, some people drink water, some people put their computer on, some people look at their phone or check messages. Some people have sex first thing in the morning, like some people eat something, like, some people go to the bathroom and poop or whatever. So yeah, like everybody has, this thing, the first thing that you do in the morning. And 15 degrees is a Gemini degree. So this person is very likely going to check their phone, right? Their cell phone. They're probably going to check their messages first thing in the morning. Okay. If you want to look at the opposite side, which is the DC, as you can see, they share the same degree. Now remember, the 7th house has a lot to do with your spouse or the other. Okay. Meaning dealing with your clients or customers. It could be your spouse, person you get to marry, or business partner. Again, if you have this degree, right, the Gemini degree, it's going to be very easy and likely for you to meet somebody that you date or get married to. Maybe your first meeting is through online stuff, right, or online dating, or something that you get to connect over phone or something, like messages. Let's say that another person has a Cancer degree. They might be introduced through the mother or the family. Okay, that would be a Moon degree, like the 4th degree, Cancer degree. Okay, but if this is a 15th degree, this is much more likely to be introduced to either friends, a younger sibling, you know, all this Gemini stuff, right? For a dating app, something like that. Okay. Let's see what else. Yeah, or maybe you meet somebody through trading something. Okay. What else can we look at? Yeah, we need to look at the IC and midheaven, right? Remember these darker lines, okay? They point to some very big significant parts of your life, okay? So here, IC has a lot to do with, you know, your home, right? This is the beginning of your private life, your home life, and it's 27 degrees. If you take away 24, right? That's double the Pisces, 24. It would be 3 degrees again, it's like Gemini degree. So for this person, they're probably going to move homes a lot, okay? Because, you know, Gemini means a lot of mobility and, you know, moving house, okay? They're probably going to move a lot. And same thing. This is the midheaven at 27 degrees, okay? And this, remember, 10th house is to do with your father's job or reputation in the world. So maybe this person moved a lot, you know, because of their father's job, okay? And because, you know, Mercury is about teaching and learning, you know, they probably had to move schools a lot too, okay? All right, so just some very easy way to check your degrees. Okay, that's one sample chart. Okay, let's look at Donald Trump's chart again. So same thing, right? We have the ascendant here is 29 degrees, okay, meaning this person Trump probably is good at predicting the future. You might have a good intuition about it. I mean, I don't know, maybe you may or may not agree because, you know, Trump is usually either, you know, really, you know, there's like a lot of black and white over Trump, right? Either you're supporting him all the way or you really hate him with your guts. So yeah, he's very, you know, there's a very polarity here. But anyway, so 29 degrees, if you take away 24, that actually gives you, oh, sorry, hold on, let's go back. 29 degrees minus 24, that'll be a Leo 5 degrees, okay, Leo. So whatever he does, he's going to have this Leo-like quality, like he's probably a leader, he's very in your face, you know, there's going to be something about leadership of some kind. Okay, he's not just going to be somebody who is subservient, right? He's going to be out there. He's going to be very proud. Okay. Remember how he predicted his own future on TV a long time ago when he was much younger? He said on national television or something in an interview that he may run for presidency someday. And he did say that it would be in the future, not then when he was younger, but he said maybe in the future, or Uranus energy. And you know, Leo has a lot to do with the hair. They need like really big hair, and you know how Trump has his own very like signature hairstyle. Like, you know, there's been so many funny memes about it. But yeah, so Leos usually they tend to have really big hair, and it really stands out. Okay, so yeah, that's going to be part of his appearance. Okay, and 29 degrees again is about prognosis and predicting the future, that kind of a stuff. So I think this really fits. His IC and MC, they're at 24 degrees. Okay, so this would be the Pisces degree. So let's see. Yeah, that means that his home life, right? Pisces degree has a lot to do with, you know, something that you're very familiar with, that you're comfortable with, your private life. So yeah, I'm wondering if Trump has his homes abroad away from America. I'm gonna have to check that actually. But yeah, anything to do with Pisces has a lot to do with foreign lands, right? Foreign countries. You might even enjoy like sanctuaries or somewhere that's secluded, away from the people. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. Anyway, so that's what I can think about for his IC. Let's see what else we can talk about here. So yeah, his spouse, right? His spouse, DC, is 29 degrees Leo degree, so it's going to be somebody pretty sexy. And it's most of his seventh house, though, even though it's at the very last degree of Aquarius, okay, it's going to be a little bit of Aquarian energy, but mostly Pisces energy, right? So his marriages may have been sudden. He's probably going to have a divorce as well, and it's going to be a famous divorce, right? His first marriage probably had a very famous divorce, I think. Everybody knows about it. And then, but overall, though, main energy here is Pisces. He's going to probably prefer a foreign bride, which, in Melania's case is absolutely true. And you know how she is also like this model and all that stuff, right? Very sexy. She's still very sexy, I think. And she also presents herself really well. So yeah, I think that would be quite accurate for him. And also remember, Pisces degree, there's a lot of mystery around them. They like their own privacy. And you know how Melania, she doesn't really speak a lot. Like she's very visually well presented. Um, but you know how she likes to wear sunglasses a lot. She doesn't really like to give too much of herself in public. She's quite secretive, right? She's very guarded or reserved. So, and I think that comes from this sort of Piscean energy. Okay. All right. Anyway, so that's what I can read from his seventh house. I also noted here something about his messages. You know how his 10th house is a very public figure, right? He's the president of the US. So I thought it was very interesting. You know how Trump had his slogan, Make America Great Again, and he talked about building a wall on the border with Mexico. It was really interesting. The ninth house, according to Nikola, ninth house, beginning of the ninth house, right, called the ninth house cusp. According to Nikola, this is the borders and border control or customs and all that, right? So seeing that we have Aries energy here, right? That would be Aries has a lot to do with construction. It has to do with building things or production of something. Okay. If you actually apply the degree theory to countries, which is also possible, according to Nikola, Germany has this Aries degree. Okay, in their genetic chart, that's what they call it, genetic chart. German people, they're very good at producing weapons and metals and cars and all of that stuff, right? All to do with fabrication, factories, building, all that weapon stuff, right? That's how the Germans were able to win the world wars and all that. They were very good at all that stuff, and they still are, So there's that Aries energy. Okay. So you know how he wanted to build a wall, and I thought, wow, like this is the ninth house, and it's beginning at the Aries degree. And I think would be the ninth house here. It connects to the third house cusp. That would be the same thing in terms of degree. So third house being 21 degrees Libra, that means ninth house cusp will also be 21 degrees, right? So that's if you do 21 minus 12, right, that would be 9 degrees, Sagittarius degree. So yeah, he's going to be very gung-ho about this border stuff with Mexico, right? He's like, build a wall, right? That was his campaign message, okay? That was one of the first things we heard about his foreign policy, about, having this very clear boundary, okay? Anyway, so I thought that was very interesting. That was very evident from his campaign message. Another very interesting thing is how he talked about make America great again. Okay, so anything to do with again, this repetition or history repeating itself or going back to something or revival of something, that's a Saturn energy. And can you see how we have Sun in Gemini in his 10th house of leadership, reputation. We have Sun at 22 degrees, which is a Saturn degree. Okay, so if you do 22 minus 12, right, that's 10 degrees, Capricorn degree, right? And so his message here And can you see this red line? Yeah, we have sun opposite moon. Moon is the people, American people. And this is so accurate because in Nikola's degree theory, both, um, hold on, not both, the Sagittarius degree, this has to do with American people, right? If you watch his free webinar on degree theories and country, degree of countries and all that, you'll notice that he talks about America having the Sagittarius degree. And the moon is the public, the people, right? People of the homeland. So this is again, it's again double the message. Sagittarius sign. The moon is the people of America, again at 21 degrees, meaning again it's Sagittarius. So his message, right, to American people, right? Fourth house is again the homeland, right? So it fits, it's like double the meaning here. Moon in fourth house, Sagittarius degree and Sagittarius sign, right? Opposite the sun, right? There's this connection, okay? This opposition, which means it takes time to integrate, but the connection is there. You know, he said that make America great again. So, you know, he probably tweeted this, right? Gemini has to do with Twitter, messaging, public messaging, right? 10th house. Okay, he's well known for his tweets, okay? Very short messages, right? That's all of that Gemini energy, right? He likes to communicate his message. And yeah, it's all about make America great again. Okay? I think that information can be so easily seen from here, okay? And again, when you talked about his presidency, which you know he talked about in an interview when he was really young, that can be seen through this Uranus here, right? Uranus has to do with either technology, innovation, or predicting the future. Gemini includes not only tweets, communication, but television, right? So he talked about his future presidency when he was much older, right? Capricorn energy, Sun, leadership. Saturn means older, right? He talked about it on national TV, right? So yeah, I think it's the same thing when he did his TV series, The Apprentice. Okay, that also has to do with this Gemini energy TV. Okay, and he has 3 planets here: Uranus, Rahu, North Node, Sun, all of them here. Okay, but can you see how in between Uranus and Sun we have Rahu, the North Node, the karmic planet, his destiny point in this life, right? Whatever he does, he's going to be the top person, right? With all these 3 planets, and you know how his presidency being elected was really a big shock to the people. Can you see we have the not only the sun opposite the moon, we also have this other red line. Oops, sorry. Oh, sorry, guys, I'm going backwards. We have Uranus opposite the moon again here. Okay, so when he became president, this was a shock to a lot of Americans. Everybody thought, right, it was going to be Hillary. If you actually go back and check the astrology videos, which I was really comparing a lot of astrologers at the time, a lot of astrologers agreed with the media hype that it was going to be Hillary who would win the election, you know, and it was revealed at the last minute, you know, that Trump was actually elected. So that's Uranus energy, right? Big surprise, like a shock. Okay, so a lot of Americans were very shocked that he was elected. Okay, and Rahu being in the 20 degrees here, you would see that wow, this is you know he probably has a lot of either tumultuous times being a president. It's not going to be easy. Big transformations can come. Okay, but 8-degree Scorpio energy, I think, does indicate to a lot of danger or accidents or death. I'm wondering if this has anything to do with the coronavirus, because you know we talk about how coronavirus, you know, it's the symptoms are not seen, right? That's again this Scorpion energy. Gemini is air sign, okay, and I hear that the coronavirus or COVID-19 can be transmitted through air. It has to do with your lungs apparently too, right? It really affects your lungs. A lot of death can happen with the Scorpion degree. So yeah, I think that all of this is affecting his presidency. And you know, this is just part of his karma. You know, with the North Node being there, I think it's playing out right now. Okay, and this Rahu at Scorpion degree affecting American people directly, right? And yeah, so I think that that can all be seen from his 10th house, public house, his reputation, his legacy, all of this, you know. Um, what else? Oh, so remember how before his presidency, what he was really well known for was actually real estate, right? That's what he made his wealth from. And in astrology, things like Mars, right? The planet Mars and Moon, and actually Saturn as well, right? Those three planets have a lot to do with real estate, right? So Mars, I think, has a lot to do with, I mean, there are different astrologers saying different things about this, okay? The Vedic camp of astrologers, the more Western side, I've heard different things about it, but everybody agrees that these three planets do deal with real estate. Moon has a lot to do with your home and residency, right? So this would probably be houses or residences or residential. A lot of it would be residential real estate. Okay, and Mars has usually to do with construction. So Mars and Saturn, depending on which astrology school you go with, it can mean construction. It can mean old buildings, right? Anything that's very strong and stable, enduring, right? That's Saturn. Okay. But they also have to do with land, right? So some people say Saturn is the land or building. Some people say Mars is the building or land. Like I've heard both sides. Okay. Anyway, so when you see this connection, right? He has Mars, okay, in trine to the moon, right? It's a really beneficial aspect. Trine is a very easy connection, right? Um, he's gonna have a lot of real estate. And Mars being in Leo, he's not just gonna have any little estate. It's gonna be in the capital city, right? Leo has to do with capital city, in the heart of the city, right? Um, and it's gonna be well known, like famous kind of either location or the name itself would be famous, right? It's not gonna be anything small or mediocre. His real estate is going to be well known, famous, and with the 26 degrees here, it's going to make him a lot of money, right? Because 26 is Taurus degree. 26 minus 24 is 2 degrees, right? It's money. So he's going to gain a lot of that. But here we have this connection to Moon in 29 degrees, 29 degrees. I think a lot of his real estate, I think the famous ones that he has is going to be in his homeland, right, in America. Okay. And with Sagittarius being here represented twice, he's going to have a lot of it, right? Jupiter rules Sagittarius, right? And Jupiter usually means a lot of something. So he's not going to have just one famous real estate. He's going to likely have a lot of it. And it's going to give him a lot of money as well. Okay. But here, you know how he didn't release his tax returns and stuff? I think maybe the reason he didn't want to share, I don't know, tax would be 8th house, right? We have Aries, Pisces. So both are indicated, right? Pisces meaning he doesn't want to share. There's a secrecy. He doesn't want to share his tax returns, okay? With Aries being here and the ruler in the 12th house again, he really doesn't want to share his tax returns. Okay, that's what I'm reading here, okay? Yeah, so I thought that was very interesting. Like, yeah, he definitely has this trine aspect going on, okay? And his moon, again, is in sextile to Jupiter. Jupiter always brings you good luck, okay? So again, sextile is a pretty beneficial aspect, right? So even with a little bit of effort, he's going to get some results, okay? And can you see how Jupiter in Libra, at 5 degrees Leo, the kind of real estate that he has in America, in his homeland, a lot of them, they're actually going to be very good looking, like beautiful, like Libra degree has to do with beauty or luxury, right? They're probably going to be very good looking or well designed buildings. They're not going to be shoddy looking. They're not going to be old. I think with 5 degrees again, these are going to be very like regal looking stuff, right? Jupiter is also gold, right? So Trump, one of his famous photos that he had with Melania, I think it was all covered with gold or something, right? But yeah, his residence is going to likely have a lot of gold in them and look really beautiful, or it's well maintained, right? Anyway, it's again in the second house of money. So again, I think that represents how real estate does give him a lot of wealth, right? It's also family lineage, right? Second house. So, there's probably a lot of it is coming from his family. Okay. All right. So I think that's what I want to cover here. Just trying to think what else we need to look at. Taurus. Yeah, I think I'm going to stop there for now. So let's cover what you can do with your chart, right? So as I shared in my second video, right, you want to go to astro.com, okay, and go and input your birth info with the city and birth time. If you don't know your birth time, you can just use noon time. But remember, when you don't really know your birth time with accuracy, the degree theory, because it's based upon birth time, it's not going to be as accurate. It's going to give you an approximation, okay? But I've done charts just with the noon time, and it still gave good results, right? So I mean, you do want to, if you really want to know, you can do your rectification by what I mentioned earlier. You want to think about what's the first thing I do in the morning, right? And try to rectify your chart that way. You can also look at your parents' career, right? Your family life. Think about your grandparents, think about your mom and dad, and look for those indications in your chart. Okay. If not, you can always get a reading with Nikola, right? He will clarify that for you. Okay, when you order his chart reading. He's not going to charge you extra for it, as far as I know. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, so go to astro.com and have your info input there, and go to and select your natal chart. Okay, the default setting would be Placidus, right, which is what a lot of Western astrology, tropical astrology is all about. Anyway, so you can look at your natal chart, and as I said earlier, look to your ascendant degree. Okay, and think about what is the first thing that you do in the morning when you wake up, right? If you like to go for a run and exercise, maybe you're an Aries degree. Okay? That would be 1 degree or 13th degree. Okay. If you like to eat something first thing you wake up, like you could be a Taurus degree. Okay. If you Taurus actually has to do with nature, so maybe you're the kind of person who likes to spend time with your plants or in gardens or in nature. Maybe you're a Taurus degree. Okay. If you are the kind of person who puts their computer on first or looks at their cell phone first, that would be a Gemini degree, so 3rd degree. Okay. What else would be? So Cancer degree. Cancer moon could be drinking something, right? Or what is Cancer degree also good for? Or maybe you like to check in with your family, right? Moon has to do with your family. Okay. If you have Leo, maybe you like to do your hair. Okay. Or maybe you like to check yourself in the mirror. Like Leo and Libra people, I think they really like to look good. It's important to them. Okay. But Leo apparently has to do with teaching or sort of teacher energy. So maybe you like to learn something or teach something. I don't know. So Leo would be those two, I think. What else is Leo about? Anyway, so I'm just going to cover things very generally here. You can find more detail in Nikola's videos. I'm going to link that, okay, underneath. So Virgo degree, maybe you like to wash yourself or get super clean, or do something with cleaning. Maybe you're like Monica Geller and Friends. Okay, you're a neat freak or clean freak. Okay. Apparently Virgo has to do with coffee. Maybe you like to drink coffee. Maybe you have a configuration that's a mixture of both Moon or Cancer with Virgo. Okay. Anyway, so Virgo people probably they clean something first. Okay. What else? So after Virgo, Libra. Yeah, as I said before, Libra, maybe you like to talk to your spouse first thing in the morning. Okay. Or something, maybe you like to do something lovey-dovey, or maybe it's relationship related, or Libra is all about harmony. Okay. Um, but Libra is also the law. So maybe it has to do with reading or checking the news, or I don't know. I think all of that could be part of Libra. Okay. What else is there? So Libra. After that, we have Scorpio. So yeah, Scorpio again. Maybe it's excretion. Okay, that's the Pluto, Scorpio. They deal with that part of the body. Or maybe it's sex, right? Maybe you're the kind of person who really enjoys sex first thing in the morning with your partner. Apparently, recycling is Scorpio degree. So maybe you like to recycle first thing in the morning. Sagittarius degree. Jupiter, maybe you're very spiritual, or maybe you like to study the sacred text, something like that, right? Something either very philosophical or spiritual, like something with higher mind. That could be Sagittarius. Okay. What else? So Capricorn. So Capricorn energy is very businesslike. See, so maybe you want to put on your suit first. I don't know, maybe you want to look very presentable, or Capricorn people, they're very stoic, but they're also very practical. Maybe the first thing you want to do in the morning, I don't know, is to check your bank balance. I don't know, so something to do with business or reputation. Okay, something very pragmatic, business-like. Yeah, that's Capricorn degree. Okay. What else? So Aquarius comes after that. So Aquarius could be, maybe you're one of those people who has like a very fast computer, okay? And you put your computer first thing in the morning. That could be Uranus, right? Or Aquarius, okay? Aquarius apparently has to do with high places. So maybe you actually go up to your building, top of the building, and you look at the view, or go to an observatory or something to do with the stars, right? Maybe you like to read your astrology in your newspaper. And then we have 12th degree, which is the Pisces degree. So 12th house or Pisces has a lot to do with the sleep, right? The 12th house is sleep. Maybe you don't want to get up in the morning. Yeah, this was confirmed in one of my clients' readings. Maybe you're the kind of person who just really wants to lie in bed and doesn't want to do anything, like just kind of lays around for a little bit. Or maybe it's very foggy. Neptune is very foggy, right? So maybe when you wake up in the morning, your brain doesn't wake up right away, right? Maybe you need some lull time to function again. Okay. Or 12th house Pisces have to do with your feet. Maybe you like to dance, or maybe you like to do something spiritual, or yoga, or something like that. Okay, that could be something to do with your sanctuary, right? Maybe you like to pray or listen to spiritual music or meditation music. That could be Piscean energy. Okay. If you have a really bad configuration, maybe you do drugs. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, please check your ascendant degree. Okay, I did cover very roughly like all of the signs. Okay. Same thing, right? When you look at your IC, the beginning of your fourth house cusp, right? You can really learn a lot about what your home life is like, or what's very instinctually a part of your nature, right? That comes through ancestry or your mother's side. Your private life that you don't want to show other people, that could all be seen from the fourth house cusp IC degree. Okay, so look at what number is indicated there. Okay, and see, like, apparently your family name can be seen from the fourth degree. And Nikola did a really wonderful section in this in one of his videos, where he goes on and talks about his wife's surname, family name. He goes on for like what, 15, 20 minutes, just 30 minutes, just talking about the fourth house, the IC degree, and what's in her fourth house. And I was so surprised. My fourth house, I think it begins at probably the Cancer degree, and my family name in Chinese character is is pronounced on, and it means comfort. Okay. And it's so connected to this Cancerian energy. So I was like, wow, I can't believe how true this is. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, it's really fascinating. You really have to check out, okay, Nicola's videos, I think. Anyway, so yeah, so go to the DC. This could be your any kind of partnership, right? Legal bindings, your spouse, you know, your first marriage, most of your relationships, your business partnerships, any kind of contracts or clients, customers, right? All of them can be seen from your DC, seventh house cusp. Okay. Same thing with MC, your midheaven. This is your 10th house cusp. Okay. MC is really important for everybody's fame and reputation and how they are in public. Okay, public life or public image. So please check your midheaven. Okay. And you're gonna probably be able to see, like, you know, what you're like in terms of how people view you. Okay. Or what your legacy might be. Okay. And then maybe if you can remember all these benefic or malefic degrees that I mentioned, or if you want to, you know, get the full list of these, you want to check, like, yeah, you know, do I have which of the degrees that I have for all my planets and house cusp and, you know, those quadrant parts, like, you know, you want to check what kind of degrees are going on in your chart, right? So one just basic rule of thumb where you get to read these, when you have a house cusp, right? Apparently that has a lot to do with what's in your life, or how the reality is set for you in that part of your life. And when you see a planet with this degree, that has to do with what you want in life, okay? Or what your preferences or what you want to choose. Okay. Or it could be a trigger point when you have a transit going over those planets, right? It gets triggered. Okay. Planets have very heavy energy, but those cusps are going to have some other meaning as well, right? So that's how you get a lot of information from just the chart itself, right? With all the degrees happening, it really gives you a lot of information, and you can really pinpoint a lot of things. Okay. So yeah, you know, you want to check for benefic degrees like the second degree, or you want to check for the fifth degree. You want to check for 29th degree, okay? And then you want to check for your malefic degree, like the 18th degree, your 11th or 23rd degree, okay? Just check for those, okay? And see where it's happening in your chart, okay? Am I going to be struggling with money? Am I going to be struggling with my mom? Right? Are you going to struggle with your studies? Okay, you can look to those indications in your chart. Okay, those numbers actually have specific meaning in your chart. Okay, so I'm gonna do wrap up. So as I mentioned, there's a lot of free info regarding this degree theories. Okay, so please go to youtube.com and type in the search box Nikola Stojanovic astrology, and it will give you a whole list of things, okay, that you can look at. And he's done like a whole series, maybe like at this point, maybe about 8 videos. I didn't count, but there's quite a lot. There's several. And he's done a lot of promo videos, like 30-minute. They're very entertaining and very helpful, okay, just in themselves. And he's just really convincing, right? He gives a lot of example, like he shows you like 7 different charts, okay, for each one, and he explains with a lot of detail. Okay, he's done a lot of research on his own. Like he has his own thinking. He's not just following anybody else. Like he really matches his theory with real life examples of from his own practice, right? And so yeah, these two, they've done a really amazing job making a lot of free webinars that you can look at. So yeah, he has like the degree theory. He has the countries, which is also based on degree theory. Okay, those are very good places to look at for more information on degrees. His other videos are also very helpful. Okay, like, you know, the best aspects. He gives you information about how to look up what's lucky in your chart. Yeah, what comes easy in your life, right? So yeah, just check those out. And you can also go to his, oops, I didn't spell this correctly, it's supposed to be astrology. He has a lot of articles that he's been writing from a long time ago, and a lot of it is also in English. Go to his homepage, Astrology in Serbia. Okay, you have to click on the English version, on the website. I couldn't do a screen capture because some of the icons were down. I think the server is either overloaded, or I don't know, my internet connection could be bad. But yeah, you can look at a lot of free articles. Like there's probably more than 50, you know. There's just a wealth of information there. Okay, and he also has many articles that specifically deal with the degree theory. Okay, yeah, they're really fun to look at. All right, so if you want to go really in depth, yeah, and if you really want to be a proficient astrologer, and you feel ready for that information, yeah, you can get the paid stuff. So yeah, you can buy his webinars on Astrolada's website, astrolada.com. I say they're affordable, as in they're probably below $60, like something around 50, I think. If the upcoming new videos, I think Lada charges them for $39.99. I think the finished videos are probably going for $49.99. I think that's what it was. So I thought they were pretty affordable. A lot of astrologers, they price it at a much higher. Okay. So yeah, his webinars, I totally recommend them if you want to be proficient and get more advanced. He also has 2 books out, right? They're both in English. I got mine in a PDF version, and I've actually printed them out. So I have one of his books printed out, and this is the degree theory. Okay, it's this one. Okay, and this other book I have from him, I haven't read the whole thing yet, but I've started to read, is 70 Astrological Problems with Answers. Like this is really interesting. Like it's almost like a detective novel. Like he gives you questions. He kind of really forces you to think like an astrologer. So there's a lot of amazing, like, case studies for you to do, like 70 different. It's almost like doing a crossword puzzle, but in an astrology context. So this is a really fun and effective way of studying, right? Training your mind to think like an astrologer. Okay. But yeah, these are the 2 books that are out now that are available. You can order them through his wife's email address, which I'm also going to put in the box below. Or you can also get a paid reading, like a professional reading by Nikola. As I said, he's gonna rectify your birth time and also give you a 90-minute reading that's very in-depth. Like you get to send him all kinds of questions. Okay, so I think he's just the best, right? I think I'm gonna do a survey to see what else you guys want to learn about astrology. I've already had actually one question coming in about two requests. After this would be one of my clients wanted to learn more about planets and houses. So that could be fun to do, very helpful, even though there's a lot of videos. Maybe I can use different samples that do not overlap. And what else? The other one that was mentioned was, yeah, somebody asked about death. That would be the 8th house or Scorpio energy. So I read Mark Boney's book on Yama. He's actually a Vedic astrologer, but he had a book specifically dealing with death. And, a lot of astrologers actually tend to not really give predictions about death for their clients. Apparently it's a taboo thing to do. Apparently you're not supposed to do it. So, I don't know. I feel both ways about it. I think some people are able to handle the information with grace and strength and not, get overly affected by it. I'm pretty sure there are going to be people who ask for information, but they're not ready to handle it. I think it could be a really mixed bag there, but I'll think about what I can share, or I'll, maybe I can talk about some famous people and their death, which those kind of videos have been made about, All right, guys, so those are the 2 videos I think I could make. I will do a poll in the future to discover what you guys really want to learn, or if you want me to do somebody's chart reading, okay? All right, guys, so I think that's it for today. Thank you for listening. Oh, I need one more thing. This is something I tell all of my clients at the beginning of our session. Your natal chart is just 1/3 of how your life is playing out. That's how I view things. Okay, your natal chart is not the end all and be all of everything. You know, even if things are indicated in your natal chart, doesn't mean that it has complete control over you. It's not like, you know, it's not like you have a fate that you cannot escape. That I don't think that's true. Okay, your natal chart is there to give you a lay of the land, right? It maps things for you that you need to know or you can benefit from by knowing or accepting, right? So usually the clients who come to me for reading, they're actually usually over the age of 30, usually. And a lot of them already have enough adequate information about how their life has been. You know, they've already struggled with things or they know what their karmic stuff are. Um, you know, a lot of them are just really struggling with the final acceptance part, whether it's difficulty with their childhood or parenting issues they had growing up, PTSDs, or, you know, very difficult marital conflicts that happened, you know. Um, you know, most of my clients, they already know what's going on in their life. It's not like they're coming to me as a blank slate, okay? They have enough knowledge, but they're trying to really align their life so that they can be more optimized. That's how I see it, okay? So anyway, so your natal chart does have a place in your life, is having some effect. That's what I think. But there's also your own effort, you know, where you put your energy, where you put your focus, your sweat and tears, all of that, right? That also takes up about 1/3 of the outcome of your life or how things are currently going on in your life, right? You know, what you do, what kind of actions you take on a daily basis, they do matter. It's just that it's not 100%, right? So we have the natal chart, we have your own effort. There's also something called a spiritual effort, right? Um, a lot of the people who come to me for reading have some vague knowledge about what's going on in their life. They kind of have a vague sense of their natal chart before I do their reading, right? That's how we get their confirmation, right? And they get a lot of healing when I confirm this. Like, hey, you know what? I see this in your chart. Is this true? And yeah, this is so true. And you know, oftentimes when I see these harsh aspects or harsh planets really affecting them, I can, empathize, or I can identify with what kind of heavy duty karma is going on in their life. It really helps understand things from their point of view. It's very easily seen. Okay, um, but if and this is just from the paid clients they've had, a lot of them come to me when they're not actually doing any effort in the spiritual department. That's what I'm seeing over and over again, repeatedly. Um, so what that means is when you put your effort in, it means that you're doing some things that you have either been trained in your life to do by the people who have taught you, like your parents, teachers, like whoever has formed your character. Okay. Um, but as you can see, if you have natal chart affecting your life at about 33%, your own effort at 33%, right? You still only get 66% of the whole outcome, right? Now, I may be very Asian about this, okay, but anything below like an 85%, people are gonna feel like, it's not like high up there, right? So if you feel like you're not really making the kind of if you're not really seeing the results that you want in your life, like let's say that you have this potential that you can be at, but you're not there, a lot of the times it's because you're lacking in or you're oblivious to the spiritual department. Yeah, I mean, when I say spiritual, I'm not saying religious, okay? Spiritual as in something that really rings true for you and something that really resonates for you as an experience. You could go to a church that's super religious. There's all these doctrines, like strict things that you have to follow. You may be there, but it may not really touch your heart. Maybe it's not experiential enough. It's all like, talk, and like, very discipline oriented, where they don't really deal with what really matters to you. Maybe it doesn't really touch you. Yeah, that can happen, right? So yeah, like whatever thing is, like what really, this bigger energy that can affect you, whatever kind of protection you want, or safety you want, or security you want, that you can't have on your own by your own effort. Yeah, that has to come from a bigger force, or bigger nature, or universe, whatever you call it, what have you, right? um, a lot of my clients, they need to hear about how they may actually benefit from spiritual effort. I've had a lot of clients who were spiritual in the early part of their life, but they had lost the connection with their higher power, or God, or whatever they call this, like creator, or cosmic energy, or cosmic intelligence, or goddess, whatever you call it. A lot of my clients come to me usually because their spiritual foundation has not been maximized or optimized, right? So I want you to remember that when you have a clear understanding of your natal chart, what's already in your chart, that gives you a lot of like identification, or validation, or recognition, just clarity. A lot of that can come from the natal chart reading, okay? And that in itself can be very healing for you. It really helps you accept, especially the negative things in your life. And one of the videos that Nikola did was actually on how to use the astrological information and come up with really brilliant, like genius solutions, like what he calls remedies, right? And his remedies are different from the Vedic kind, where they talk about like, gemstones or whatnot. Like, apparently, according to um, Ernst Wilhelm, and also Ryan Kurtzak, I don't know how you pronounce his name, sorry, but both of them talk about how gemstones can only be useful, or beneficial, and have good results for people who have good Mars, like, stones, or Saturn. Well, Saturn, stones would be Saturn, but if you don't have physical benefit, it would be affecting your Mars energy. I think that's what they said. Okay, so Nicholas's remedies are very different from the gemstones from the Vedic discipline. Okay, that's a topic for another video, or I recommend you to type that in and look for Nicola's video on remedies. Okay. So yeah, you could actually learn how to find remedies, and they really work. If you follow Nicola's suggestion, I think a lot of them do work. Maybe not everything, okay, but a lot of them actually are really brilliant. So yeah, so natal chart itself can be very helpful, okay. But once you have a clear understanding of your natal chart, you still have to do your daily actions. You still have to put your effort, into whatever is important to you in your life. But you also need to have a spiritual foundation, or spiritual growth, or for some of you, maybe recovery. Yeah. So you do need to work on this part of yourself, which is, dealing with, spiritual effort really has to do with learning about what ego defenses you have, and how to become more mature as a person, like do no harm but take no shit kind of approach, right? If you're Buddhist, you want to have enough self-care, so that you're loving of yourself, and very accepting of yourself, and kind to yourself. But at the same time, you want to make sure you're not harming other people, not harming yourself, but also not harming other people. That's what spirituality is all about, right? How to have good character. Because without developing your own character, you're not going to have a lasting happiness or serenity. It's not possible, right? That's the whole spiritual effort part. Okay. So I do want to share some of my resources or tips on what has really helped me with the spiritual part. But just in terms of astrology, just know that even if I'm spending a lot of time talking about natal charts or synastry charts, or in the future I will do other types of charts, you're the actor, you're the hero of the journey. The natal chart, you know, you're not like a slave to your chart, right? You are the hero. You have this intelligence, you have your conscientiousness, right? The wiser you are, the more accepting you are of like, okay, I have these options at this point of time in my life, you know? I want to optimize this, I want to reduce this, I want to amplify this. Like, you get to be the person who shapes your career, shapes your destiny, shapes your love life. Like, you know, it's here for is as an information, point of information or point of reference, just to see, you know, this is workable, this is going to be hard. Like, you know, it just, you know, gives you that amount of clarity or point of clarification. That's how I see it. Okay. Anyway, guys, I really hope that my videos are giving you something you don't know. Okay. And thank you for requesting these. I am having a lot of fun making these. Okay. And stay tuned. Okay. I'll come back with more videos. Thank you guys. Bye bye. And stay safe.